All right, we're going to go ahead and call the meeting of City Council to order. We've got a very full agenda tonight, so Dave Thomas, no pontificating.
Speaking of which,
You're gonna have to pay me not to talk, you know?
Oh boy, I don't know, that might violate Ethics Commission.
That's okay.
All right, let's observe our traditional moment of silent reflection as we begin the meeting, and then we will stand for the pledge. Thank you very much. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I do believe this is the last meeting that will begin in the dark. So, time changes this weekend. So.
Depends on where you're sitting.
That's true, David.
that's true, yeah.
That's my last one.
That was allowed.
All right. Okay, under recognized guests, first up, Laura Ward, who is the Executive Director of Country Roads Transit Authority. Good evening, Laura. Welcome.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Hi, Laura.
I love coming here. This is such a fun place.
We're glad you think so.
So I come every year, of course, and report to you on your investment in transit in Upshur County. Because one, we should have some accountability for that investment to you, but also because I want to say thank you again for everything that you do. Last fiscal year in Upshur County, we provided 6,093 rides. I would love to be able to tell you that that's 6,093 rides because people want the green alternative, but that's 6,093 rides of people who, for the most part, had no other way to get where they were going. So, for example, 812 of those rides were for medical purposes. In addition to that, I know that you guys were the first ones to say to us, hey, we believe in this Parksburg area medical run. You were the first folks to give us some additional money to make that happen. And I'll tell you that that continues to grow, continues to be successful in both counties. It's really wonderful. Sometimes we'll start the day in Randolph County at as early as 6 in the morning, come to Upshur County, pick some folks up, go to the VA, go to UHC, get everybody where they need to go and bring them home safely at the end of the day. But it's also daily runs for folks to get to the pharmacy. It's daily runs for people to get to preventative care, appointments at their doctors. It's appointments to get to the senior center for a good lunch with friends and some socialization, and of course to get to shopping opportunities throughout the city of Buckhannon. I feel like I say the same thing every year when I come here. And so if you have any specific questions, I would be happy to answer those. But before I do that, I want to tell you that we are, of course, we have a July fiscal year. And so that number I gave you was for the end of last fiscal year, ended last June 30th. This year that we are in the middle of, we are on trend to increase 26% that ridership in Upshur County this year. The route van service is on trend just itself to increase 50% this year from last fiscal year. And so I'm going to once again invite you all to ride transit. I come and invite you every year, and most of the time you go, no, we got it, no problem. But and it's one thing to hear me tell stories to you about the impact that you're making and the good that you're doing in your community. But it's another thing entirely for you to sit beside those people that you serve, that you are investing in, and have them tell you why transit's important to them. So that is open to you. I will pay your fare, guys. You can get on the route van and ride around, do the whole loop with the people that ride, get on a demand response van for the other service. Actually, if you want to ride to the VA Medical Center, I'll make that happen too. I just want you to experience that yourself so that you can just let those folks thank you as I am.
Well, Matt Gregory's not here tonight, but I have a lead foot, and I would be a really bad backseat driver.
It's funny, when I was at the county commission in Randolph County last year, I said, I invite you guys, and nobody's ever come yet. And the sheriff said, nobody wants to ride in my car either.
There you go.
But I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
How many days a week do you run? 6, 7, 5?
We run 5 days a week.
5 days, Monday through Friday?
Monday through Friday. So we start about 8:15 in the morning, and we go till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's one of my greatest goals in life to increase the hours of service that transit's available. Both evenings and weekends would be helpful. It quite frankly is a budget issue. This is a 50-50 match program, as you guys remember. So every half of our budget, and that budget's estimated to be $710,000 next year for the two counties combined, we have to raise half of that. And so part of how we do that is fares, but a large portion of that is just simply match funding. Every dollar you give us allows us to leverage a federal dollar. So it's really like getting $2 of service in your community for every dollar that you invest.
It's up 26% just in Upshur County.
Just in Upshur County.
Is it up in Randolph as well?
It is not as much. Not as the increase, the trend for this year is up about 19%.
In Randolph?
13% in Randolph.
Okay.
So 26% year to date is up.
Yeah, in this fiscal year.
Right,
From
right.
last fiscal year. Yep. That's the trend. What else can I tell you that you don't know about transit? I've been coming here so long, I feel like I'm repeating myself.
Well, it's obviously a very successful program. I see the transit vans on the streets and roads all the time. So, and I see heads in there.
Yeah.
I see people in there.
Yeah.
And one of my tenants today just got dropped off, at my office so she could pay her rent and then, walk on to her place and she's not too far away. So, very complimentary of the service.
Good. I'm glad. We want to do a good job.
Isn't there more than one bus?
Yeah.
That's what I was
So
thinking.
in Upshur County,
Yeah.
there's 2 vans.
Okay, that's
There's one that does the route, and then there's one that's demand response service, so that you can call a day ahead of time. If you want to go somewhere not along the route, or you don't live along the route and need to be picked up there, we can schedule that in advance.
We have received your application. The Revenue and Expense Review Committee has met and is prepared to make the recommendation to award the same continued support that we have in years past, or that started with last year with the increase, to continue that level again this year. Council has not passed its budget yet, which we will do so this month. We have one more budget session scheduled next week, and then we'll hopefully pass the full budget at our March 21st council meeting, because it is due this month. But we have 3 members of the committee are sitting here tonight. Actually 4. We have Barb in the back is on that as well. But we have made the recommendation to council to support the same level. So. And I don't think I don't see that being a problem, so.
Thank you. We appreciate that very much.
Sure.
How many years has this been going on now, Laura?
We started in 2006. So coming up on 20 years,
Yeah.
just a few years away. I want to try to, when we get there, when we get to our 20th year, I want to be able to come to you and say, here's how many rides we've done over 20 years. Because I think that's particularly impactful. And I would love to find a rider who wants to come to council meeting and just tell their story. I think it's important. I'm glad you know an individual.
I know a person that uses it on a regular basis. So.
How many drivers do you have?
In both counties, everywhere? We have 15 or 16 drivers. So most of our drivers are part-time. Most of them are retired. Quite frankly, most of them are retired guys. And they don't want to sit around.
Yeah.
And so they work however many days a week they want to work.
Do you ever drive?
No, I don't. I am not in the safety-sensitive drug and alcohol pool. I had to move a van once.
Well, there you go.
It was a big one. I'm glad I don't have to do it every day. It's a little daunting to drive, particularly the big route vans around. And so they are well trained, and they are
Sure.
very professional, our employees, and I'm proud of them.
Well, thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you, Laura.
Appreciate what you do, and I believe that you can count on our support yet again, so,
Thank you. I appreciate you.
all right,
guys.
thank you.
Have a good day.
Have a good evening.
Have a good evening, Laura. Be safe.
Jim, do you want to wait a little, do you want to let John go ahead of you and see if,
That accident's still not cleared up.
Right.
There, so we can wait.
okay,
JD's out there also.
right, he texted me. So, John, you want to jump ahead of Jim and the Strawberry Festival and talk to us about the mapping request, or update, I should say, over at the college?
Yes, for the last 2 or 3 months, I've been looking at the GIS map that's within Upshur County, and we've worked with the 911 center, and we were able to get pins dropped anytime there's an incident of concern, like for EMS response, fire response, anything from our local partners that would come to a certain area of our campus. The 911 center would drop a pin, and our security office would get that, as well as if it's an EMS response, the first responders would get that, and they would go to a certain portion of campus. I've discovered that some of the addresses just needed updated. In addition to that, there are frequently used areas across the 110 acres of West Virginia Westland that just didn't have any pins. And for instance, we have a new tennis court. There's not a pin there. If somebody were to say that there's an issue at the tennis court, well, we have 2 tennis courts. It would be nice to be able to have a physical address for the new tennis court, and also we currently have one for the older one. That's just one example. So we're just going through and looking at all the addresses, make sure there's proper physical addresses for each of the locations. Once the city has approved those physical addresses, as well as the naming of 3 streets that are actually within the 1 square mile of West Virginia Westland, hopefully that will improve our response for first responders to come to those areas of campus. And then once City Council approves that, I then will go work with Terry Jo Bennett at the courthouse to update the actual GIS map that is used. And then that will then be programmed into the 911 communications through up there with our 911 folks. So.
Council, you have in your packet about, I'd say, half to maybe a little past half back, the list that John has provided, changing a couple of the, as he said, clarifying the tennis court area, naming a few internal roadways inside the campus.
Now, this is all ready to go now? I mean, is it,
Yeah,
any of the work needs to be continued, or?
at this time, I've worked with Tanner Smith of the
Okay.
fire department,
Right.
and then worked with Jay Holland, and then submitted things over to Jerry. And Jerry and his group has looked at that, and Jerry has given me some positive feedback, and working with him back and forth to make sure all the necessary adjustments are going to be proper. Also, too, within code, wanted to make sure that was in play, to make sure that when we do this, we do it right, following all the city ordinances, as well as working with our Upshur County friends down the street to make sure that we're in compliance with their ordinances as well.
So A looks pretty self-explanatory, then B, Mayor, is that revisit ordinance 340?
So the reason that's on there is that we previously had a discussion about a year and a half ago about, there was a request made from the Buckhannon post office about redoing the city's addresses and making the city comply with the 911 addressing in the county. We can't deny that. I understand why that request was made. It is a mess in a lot of places in town. For example, where the Moonflower location is right now is 46 East Main Street. The art gallery directly across the street is 27 East Main Street. They do not line up. The corner of Main Street and Kanawha Street, you have 2 West Main Street, which is First Community Bank, and you have 2 East Main Street, which is formerly Thompson's Pharmacy. They're catty corner of each other, and so the odds and evens switch right there. You're at 16 East Main Street to CJ Maggie's, but and you have not gone 16 addresses. It's the alleys are there's properties that should be addressed to the alleys that are addressed to. They just pick a street, whichever street it's closest to, and so you've got hidden addresses out there between Bogus and Lincoln is an area, and then you've got the entire south side. There are alleys that run between Barber and Fayette and Pocahontas and Camden and so on down to the river that actually have addresses that should be addressed to the alleys and not just picking a street. So, it was presented as a request. The post office got some blowback after it was discussed here because they sent us a letter. Jerry read the letter to us, and so we were like, okay, well, this is a lot to take on at this time. But they dropped it basically because, or I don't know if they dropped it, they didn't pursue it with us any further because people started going to the post office and getting upset with the post office for wanting everybody in town to change the addresses. We technically have an ordinance, which we absolutely should have never done, that was long ago, that essentially says that the city of Buckhannon will not play nicely and will not do the E911 addressing with the county. And that is ordinance 344. So it's on here in case anybody wants to have a broader discussion about, do we look at making this simpler, and do we rip the Band-Aid off, and do we make the addresses match what they should in the county? Because I will tell you this, JB shared this with me, sometimes when they page out, even in the city, they will page out what the 911 address should be. So like if there's an issue at the Virginia Thomas Law Center for Performing Arts at the college, instead of like, what would it be, like 67 or 63 or something like that, College Avenue, they'll page out like 722 because that's what it should be, from Kanawha Street going toward East Main Street.
Currently, it's 407.
Okay, yeah.
And I suggested that we make it 58.
Yeah.
In line with the
59, which is across the street, yeah.
Correct.
So it's that sometimes they will page out in the city an incorrect address because the 911 center actually already has the city totally done. All they have to do is hit a button and it's done. But because the city drafted an ordinance years ago, I mean, we're talking 10 plus years ago, drafted an ordinance that said we're not going to do this. And so the county has the 911, the E911 addressing complete. The city does not. It's just ready to go if we wanted to do it.
So having said that, if we approve this tonight, and then we, down the road, within the next few months, repeal 344 and work with the post office, do we have to go back and change any of these?
100%. So, I mean, yes, I mean, that's why this is, that's why I kind of thought, well, maybe this is a time to have the discussion, because these are a lot of addresses to change that we would then be having them change again if we were to choose to go down the route of the 911 addressing.
Personally, I know the frustration of changing address, I understand that. But for us to have a safer community and a more organized community as growth we hope to continue in Buckhannon, we have to be, CJ would say our results are only as good as the information that's put before us, something of that nature. So if the fire departments are being sent out maybe to the wrong addresses?
I don't think it happens all the time, but there are some times when certain addresses, depending on who's dispatching at the 911 center, if they're looking at what the E911 address is, what the county approved, because the city is done, sometimes that address will be paged out as what should it be.
Jerry, would you like to speak on this?
Just a couple things.
Sorry, John.
For clarification on that, the county has all the address points finished, but whenever the E911 addressing started, there was a grant that was provided to do the initial mapping. And during that time was when this ordinance came about. So they were about, I want to say 75% finished, because they had to do site pictures. So they went to all the residents, around Upshur County, took the site pictures, and then used that as an attribute on their GIS points. Well, they didn't complete the site pictures in Buckhannon because of the ordinance. They dropped out. They just told the vendor, don't complete that. So we do have the GIS points, but there would have to be additional gathering of site. My recommendation would be, at this point in time, if you're considering going with the E911, and again, as I reported the last time when the post office had made their request to us, we are just, at some point, we're going to not be eligible for federal funding, particularly with FEMA money. Jay has reported that, Terry Jo has told us that, because we're only one of two communities in West Virginia that did not and elected to withdraw from the E911 addressing. So with that being said, I think it's just a matter of time that we're going to have to jump through this hoop. I think we've put it off for quite a while. And again, as the mayor had spoken about fire, what happened with the address points is during that transitional period, the county had already sent out letters, and then we had an ordinance. Well, then they had already sent out address letters. One area was Beach Street. Beach Street was a total nightmare because those people already changed their addresses.
To the 911?
Yes. And then had to go back because of the city ordinance to their old address. So there were areas that done that. And as the mayor said, for some reason, when they pulled the city out, some of those new addresses stuck, just like the one for the Performing Arts Center. So there are some instances where they're going to get toned out to an address that is already, the point's already addressed as the new address in Buckhannon. But I just wanted to say that I think for my part of it, if you're considering going that route, then we need to have conversation with the county mapping, because they've been through it. Terry Jo has done an excellent job in going through and doing that and keeping that up, and that's her database. I would suggest we get with them and see what it looks like moving forward if we were to go with their system or with the standard system. I don't think it's a bad idea.
And just for council's knowledge, Ordinance 344 wouldn't necessarily go away ordinance, because the state code prohibits you from striking an ordinance. The ordinance 344 would then be basically modified to, instead of rejecting the county's addressing, the ordinance would be modified and changed to adopt the county's addressing, the 911 addressing.
Is there any liability issue?
I think we actually run a higher liability issue by not doing it than if we did do it. Because there are people who are missing mail on a regular basis because the post office, remember what prompted all of this to begin was they were no longer going to be able to, their system was no longer going to be able to see half addresses. That was what this was all about. For example, on Camden Avenue, right up from me, you have 178, 178 and a half, 178 and a half B. And then you have 180. It really should be 178, 180, 182, 184, if we were to follow the same cadence we have now. What we have is we have a lot of half addresses out there. And if you recall, the discussion was, well, let's just change the halves. Well, the halves, they're everywhere. So if you had on Buckhannon Street, 53, 55, 57, 57 and a half, everybody beyond that have to change their address because of that half. So, and you've got streets like Elm Street's numbers start at 85. Hickory Street starts at 100, and there's 3 houses on it. You've got Shawnee Drive has it literally goes 1, 2, 3, 4 because there's no houses on the other side of the street.
When we had this discussion the last time, I did the math on the addresses that needed changed and what effect that would have on the total population, and we were above 50% because of, just like the mayor said, the problem is you can't just change an address because there are no more sequential numbers between the two. So you have to address the whole street or the whole block to make those numbers work. So, like I said, I did the math whenever we had that discussion before with that letter from the post office, and it was above 50% if we just made the changes to the halves, the A's, the B's. And again, that was kind of the way the ordinance was written, was we would take care of just the problematic addresses. Well, if we do that, you're over half of 50% of the population of Buckhannon's going to change your address. It just makes sense to.
Right.
And that was what we discussed before.
Yeah.
Yep, and we've got one particular area, we've got Carroll Street, where the first 3 houses are in the city limits, then it goes out of city limits, then one house goes back into city limits, and then it goes back out again. So you have 1, 3, 5, then you have the county 911 addressing take over, goes back into city limits for a random number, and then back out again. So,
John, what kind of nightmare would it be if we said, if we decided to go to the 911 system, all the work you've done here is thrown away?
not necessarily, because the street names could stay the same, but just the numbers would have to change.
It's just the numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my whole goal is to decrease the amount of time for our first responders to get there.
Right.
For instance, our pool doesn't have an address, and with the PIN system, it'd be great to have a physical address with a PIN. If there's an accident, somebody is drowning or whatever, we can get them there as quickly as possible. And there are areas on campus that I have added to this just to help out. So
They become relative.
yeah. Now, in terms of the numbers, nobody really sees those numbers except for our CERT team, my office, and Allison Whitehair. And there's been very few people that would actually, and our Dean of Students, Elisa Lively, she would have these addresses, we would have them and work together. So if you needed to change them, that's going to be perfectly fine, because right now, everything comes to 59 College Avenue in terms of mail. And we have one mail room, and it all goes there, and it disperses throughout all of campus. So changing the numbers down the line is not going to hurt us. I would like to see, in the interim at least, this proposal to go forward just for our first responders. just working with them, they said it would definitely help out in terms of finding where we need to be on our campus.
Right.
So that would enhance the safety issue.
That would enhance the safety issue.
Right.
you said.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, that should,
Well, I would propose
that should be done then, I would think.
I would propose we approve, or make a motion to approve bring F2 to the table, but F2A, first of all. And then the second piece of business is, I think we ought to revisit that 344 and look at pursuing an alignment with 911 addresses, but there'd be two, I would say that's two motions, right?
It is, because, they're listed as A and B. All right, so let's just take first things first. We'll move F2 to the table. This is relative to addressing and mapping. F2A is West Virginia Wesleyan College proposal for comprehensive address and GIS mapping update. You have before you those suggestions from Wesleyan. John has, as he said, has worked with the city as well as with the county on the addressing of those areas on campus. Is there any discussion relative to the points on campus? Hearing none, I would go ahead and ask for a motion to approve A.
So moved.
Motion by Randy, second by Jack. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries unanimously. Now we move down to B. This would just be to open, we've had discussion tonight, but to earnestly look at and to meet, to set up a meeting with Terry Jo Bennett at the county to review and to consider what it would look like if we were to accept the Upshur County E911 updated addressing.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I think it's a prudent thing to do. It's just not fire, but for running if an ambulance is running to a residence and they go to the wrong place, just a few seconds or a couple minutes can be the difference between life and death.
Right.
And also, and less important, if funding is associated with the E911 system, then I think we need to, pardon the language, but pull the scab off and get it done.
Well, and if there's also potential, very important mail that people are missing, and if that could continue to happen. Our post office has been really good. This is a small town. They pretty much know, okay, yeah, that I recognize that name. So instead of 9, it's 9.5. So send it there. They're good about that. But that may not last forever. And our fire department knows where the Virginia Thomas Law Center for Performing Arts is. That regardless of what number you give them, they know where it is.
Sure.
But look at how much we are relying on Elkins and Weston regional fire departments to come here to help us with things. They may not know. I know that Elkins Fire Department knows the city street network pretty well, and Weston does too, and our guys know Weston and Elkins pretty well. But if there was an incorrect address in Weston and we were on our way to it, would our fire department be able to know, wait a minute, that number on High Street isn't right, but we know where we're going? Maybe not. So I do think it's something worth considering. I appreciate council being open to the discussion. With the passage of this authorization tonight, I will reach out to Terry Jo Bennett and set up a meeting. So we have a motion and a second on the table. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, this is to open the discussion further on ordinance 344. Is there a motion, or will we approve it?
Yes.
Okay.
Aye.
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 Like sign? Motion carries unanimously. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
I do want to, just a word of thanks to JB and Tanner. We have some very, very good professionals that are working in the city of Buckhannon. I've welcomed them over to the campus. Matter of fact, last year they discovered that they didn't have enough hose to go all the way up to the 4th floor of Agnes Howard Dormitory. Just because we invited them to come to walk through, and when our students went around, they tested to see if they had the right equipment. It just shows the professionalism that the county has and the willingness to come over and help us. And we are very thankful for all that the city does for West Virginia Wesleyan. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Have a good day, John.
Jody Light, Jenny Barnett, Barbecue Bash.
Do you want me to defer to when you do this other, or just go now? I'm just going to give you an update on. You tell me.
Let's go ahead and do it, and then, because we can just bring it to the table, because still waiting on maybe the fire department to get back so that Shane can help present with Jim.
Okay. Good evening, council and everyone else. You have before you, and I thought I would give you something in writing so you'd have a little bit better notion of what we're doing. Oh, before I do that, speaking of the haves, we have an interesting situation. We have 14.5 North Canal Street. We have a building in behind. There's 4 apartments in it. I don't know where it came from, but all at once we got a thing that it would now be called 14 Huffman Lane, number 1234. But we only get that with the city utility bill. All the electric and the other bills still come to 14.5 North Canal Street number. So I don't even know who sent that or where that changed or how it changed. But when you were talking about the haves, I'm like, that's kind of interesting.
Well,
So
we run
it's both names.
We run into it with apartments too, as you said, the A, B, C, D thing. They don't like that either, so it should be Suite 10, Suite 10, Suite 10. So like in our building, we have like in our,
Yeah, apartment.
Apartment, yeah.
I'm sorry.
well, professionals is Suite.
Professional,
Yeah.
yeah, apartment building would be apartment, yeah.
Yeah, so like in our building, like everybody on the second floor is 20 something. Then the third floor is 30
Yeah.
something, because that's what it should be. But
So we have a mix on ours.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. Anyway, Barbecue Bash is coming up June 13th through the 15th. We have added officially Thursday opening. We call it kind of a sneak peek. We did it last year at the last minute. But we'll have some entertainment. The food vendors will be open probably from 4 to 8 or 4 to 9 on Thursday evening. That gives those food vendors that come in and set up in the morning time to make a little more money. Just kind of a quick outline of where we're at. We're ahead of where we were this time last year. We have 15 pro barbecue teams, as you can see right now, from 8 states. Kind of surprised we got one. We've never had one from Connecticut. He's excited about coming, so that's kind of a new thing. 8 of those teams, which is interesting, almost 50%, actually, yeah, are new. They've never been to our event, which is kind of exciting. The same way with the backyard teams, there are 2 that are new. The really interesting thing that we're all excited about is the 2023 KCBS Team of the Year by points across the world, not just the United States. He also won in the same year, and I don't know if that's ever been done, the Jack Daniels International Tournament in the fall. Uncle Pig's Barbecue from New Jersey, been after him for 2 years to come. So this is a great year for him to come, having won both of those major, it's the biggest awards that you can get in barbecue. So he will be here in June, and he's excited to come. We have, earlier than usual, we have 15 confirmed food vendors. 4 of them, again, are new. Trying to work with our local folks. We have Traveling Dogs, the moving and Grilling, and with homemade cinnamon rolls. Rex's Calzones with us for several years. He had to back out last year, but he's back. And then JoJo's Tacos. Someone officially on council who remain nameless said, boy, you need to have some more tacos at the barbecue. So probably some brisket tacos.
has anyone ever been upset while eating tacos? No.
So JoJo's is coming. They're excited. We're working on confirming several of the art cars. Some of them will have been here last year. We've got some new ones. The Aero car was supposed to come last year from Michigan. We hope he's going to make it this year. 80-some-year-old gentleman driving 1,082 miles one way to get here. So we hope he can come with a propeller on his car and all that. Possibly there's a giant telephone, touch-tone telephone out of Boston that may be coming. And next year, I've been trying for this guy. He's a giant 3-wheeler cheeseburger. Literally, the top bun lifts up. He gets in the vehicle, bun comes down, and he drives it with his little head sticking out of the cheeseburger. But he's looking at next year for our 10th anniversary, so we're kind of excited about that. The one thing I hope folks listening as well as here will remember on Saturday, April 6th, we're excited. This is a first in West Virginia. We have a sanctioned KCBS judges class. I encourage you to sign up. I happen to have an extra application or two. We have 20, actually I got 2 more this evening before I came, registered from 6 states. Again, never would have thought, I thought this would be more localized. Who would think you'd have people from Tennessee and Naples, Florida coming here to take a barbecue judging class, but we do. And there are 7 members of one family that are coming in from 3 different states to take the class. So the interesting thing is, if you're interested in barbecue and judging, once you're certified at this class, you can judge barbecue anywhere in the world. You can go on vacation. They have it in Hawaii, Australia. So Jack's smiling and drooling over there. I know he loves that. So Jack, I haven't seen your name on the list, but
Is there a fee for that?
it's $100 for the judging class. There's another one called, it's kind of a supervisory thing, that's a table captain. That's normally $75, but if you take them both, it's $150, and then you can,
Which would give me the most barbecue, that's all.
yeah. The judging. So hopefully we'll see you there. We've got some folks locally coming, which is neat. Jenny Barnett is always doing our crafters and does a great job. She's got several folks signed up to come. They'll be set up, am I right in Jim Hinkle's lot? Yeah, that's what I thought. And by the way, Janet McCork was also one of our board members. Happy to have her. Comes over from Weston to help us. Again, we've done this a couple years ago. We will be, in the next couple of days, I'll have it online. You can pre-order some great barbecue meals. We'll have a grilled chicken leg quarter, the pulled pork, scalloped potatoes, baked beans, a dessert for $20. It's the same as we had 2 or 3 years ago. We just didn't want to raise the prices to, we'll make less, but, we think it's a good thing for the community. And the kids can get a $5 hot dog and some scalloped potatoes and so forth. So that is all on Saturday, April 6th. So again, with all those people coming in right now from 6 states, we hope to fill up some more hotel rooms and get some folks going into the bars and the restaurants and that kind of thing. So just want to give you an update of where we are today, as if anyone has any questions. Randy, you look like...
Good.
No questions?
I've been reading and checking. JoJo's Taco sounds good.
If you don't, because not everyone likes barbecue, and the barbecue people like something different, so we're
Are
excited.
you getting that participant from Texas, Queens, I can't remember what her name was.
Huh?
Remember that?
We had a gentleman from Texas, Lee Hipple, with, forget his name, Badass, Yellow Rose Badass Barbecue or something. I'm sorry, that's the name, and it's on his ring.
This was like a queen, her name was Queen something.
Oh, Queen Becky,
Yeah.
who came with the art cars. I think Queen Becky would like to come back. Yeah,
Yeah,
she had an
okay.
art car, and she
Yeah.
was out and took pictures. Several of them did that. It was really nice for Buckhannon. They wrote a lot of blogs about it. They were at different places. They took pictures of the restaurants and the backs of different places they stayed. And Jerry Henderson was very gracious in housing those complimentary. So, any other questions? So we get out of here at a reasonable time.
Great report.
Thank you.
Good job.
Let's bring F8 to the table, if you would, please. This is, there is a recommendation from the Consolidated Public Works Board where the Barbecue Bash provided an event request for the 2024 event, which will be June 13th through 15th. Jody always likes to throw me a birthday party with barbecue. This is about street closures, the use of Jawbone Park, Public Safety Complex, Madison Street lot, and the old bank lot. It's essentially the same footprint as last year. I thought it was a great event, brought a lot of people to Jawbone Park and into downtown, and so I'd like for us to, with earnest, give this a go again this year with support. Is there a motion to approve the event request that has already been approved by the Consolidated Public Works Board?
So moved.
Motion by Thomas, second by Rigger. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The like sign opposed, motion carries. I'd also like to, while they're here, you have line item C under F5. This is for the current fiscal year, 2023-2024. They have requested a contribution of $10,000. Well, They requested a contribution of $15,000. The Revenue and Expense Review Committee met and agreed to support $10,000 to recommend to City Council for Council's final approval. $10,000, which is the same amount we supported them with last year, to go to this year's Almost Heaven Barbecue Bash. Is there a motion to approve that recommendation?
So moved.
Motion by Thomas, second by Sanders. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Let,
I have one question.
sure.
This judging course, is it pass-fail?
I have an application for you, but yeah, you're gonna eat all those meats at the class.
No? All right.
Yeah.
I could be at $100 a buck.
Charge
Whether I
Jack
learn anything or not, I can eat it.
He might stay later.
Jody, charge Jack a little bit
I
more.
can do that. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
There you go, Jack.
If you want to go eat barbecue now and think of us here.
Yeah.
The sad part of this is hard when you do these events and you have seriously championship barbecue, you go to a restaurant. We kind of call ourselves barbecue snobs because it's really hard to go having eaten those things that are just phenomenal, and then it's just,
My brother said that, he lived in West Central Arkansas after he got his doctorate from WVU, and he got his first teaching job at the University of the Ozarks near northwest of Little Rock, but east of Fort Smith. And then his fiance at the time, she lived in Memphis, and they both said there's just nothing like lower Midwest barbecue. It's really something. So.
and a lot of people like the vinegar-based sauce. They don't do that here because most people don't like it. I don't even have a vinegar-based sauce, so a lot of people swear by it, but you won't find it at a barbecue event because most people want that sweet and then a little heat at the end of it.
My mom makes a homemade vinegar barbecue
Hey, you
sauce.
guys,
It's really good.
you guys want to
I'm hungry. So, all right. Thank you all very much. Okay, Tammy, you want to jump up next? The reason we're here tonight and not Thursday night is we have the annual Buckhannon Upshur Chamber of Commerce dinner. Leaders in Action at the Event Center on Thursday evening. So Tammy, as the Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce, is here to talk to us a little bit about that.
So, yes, it's Thursday evening from 6 to 9. We will be at almost capacity out there for our event. We will have silent auction again. The Opera House will be catering. We're going to focus on our 5 events this year. So we'll give away Organization of the Year, Business of the Year, Businesswoman and Businessman of the Year, and Citizen of the Year. And those are selected by committee of last year's winners, so that they're not eligible to win again this year. And they did a great job picking some really good winners that are very exciting this year.
I know who they are because I'm the MC. But
Robbie will be emceeing for us again this year. So, yes, when we've asked that the city come on board with us and be a sponsor again this year.
so, Council, also under F5, you have letter B, which is the Chamber of Commerce. This has come as a recommendation again from the Revenue and Expense Review Committee to recommend a contribution and sponsorship of the event in the amount of $1,500. Is there a motion to approve that?
Second.
Motion by Pam, second by Jack. All those in favor signify by saying.
Discussion.
Okay.
The place looks beautiful out there. It's already set. It's going to be a nice new look. We're trying to jazz it up a little bit more. So this is a great investment. Sorry.
All right, I can deal with that discussion. CJ's already ayed, so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, sign opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
All right,
You're welcome.
Who was that? Rigger and
It was Bucklew, then Rigger. Yep.
Yeah, they've already set up. It looks really, really nice. So.
All right, Don, you're here to talk about Stockert.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for your time again, Council. And just was here last month, just kind of get an update on Stockert, where the USDA loan stands, and I'm anxious, like a lot of people, to see this move ahead. We're kind of getting into the springtime construction season, and we're still waiting for the move-ahead type thing. And as I thought about coming here tonight, I'm even more anxious about not only what this program is now, with the variety of programs that go on there at Stockard, but also what it can be with the addition of this building, not only with the youth, but also with the older citizens here in the community, and how much it will add to the downtown area. So I'm really anxious to see us move ahead, and just wondering if you could give us an update on where we stand on that and wherever it is.
We do not have our letter of conditions yet, so nothing has changed from last time. The USDA has reached out to AMBI to have a Zoom call tomorrow. They have some questions regarding the financial picture of it all. So we still do not have a go-ahead from the USDA, and that is that we cannot move forward until that is delivered. So.
I talked to Shane White here at the Rotary meeting today and asked him kind of what his thoughts were. He said, we're closer than we were. Whatever, hopefully that's all positive, and maybe your meeting tomorrow can help something.
Yep. Yeah.
But I appreciate council hanging in there with us, and I think we just need to keep moving ahead, whatever it takes to make this happen. So appreciate your time.
Hey, thanks, Don.
Thank you, Don.
I've whittled them down as far as we can go. So,
They're still out.
yeah, they're still out there.
They want me to.
Yeah, you want to go ahead and give us
What happened, Robbie? I'm not.
There's a wreck on the Hall Road, and so the fire department's down there.
Okay.
Well, all it is Shane can't be here to give the briefing. I was just here for moral support, so I'm here. I'll do it. As far as it goes, we are 10 and a half weeks away from Strawberry Festival. We're sitting right now, as far as planning, the entertainment, the parade, so on and so forth. We feel that we're in very good shape as far as putting on a high-quality event this year. I want to say that we are kind of jumped in on the coattails of an event that Randy put on here in July with Wongsby. Making this Strawberry Festival is also a regional event for the World Association of Marching Show Bands. So anyone who qualifies here can go to the events in Indonesia. It could make it to Germany if they had enough money to go in July this year, but a little tight. But for Indonesia, and then also futures, we have Mexico up in 2027. As far as it goes, we are also going to be doing a soft opening on Wednesday. We're going to have music and entertainment on Wednesday afternoon when we open with the food trucks in the carnival. We are at right now 28 food vendors. 9 of ours are new also, so a lot of people are getting the word out that they want to come here to Buckhannon. Also, we requested, was consolidated for an extended road closure on Thursday night after the parade to where we can do the Battle of the Bands, which was a huge event during Wongsby, probably one of our largest events, and also a jazz competition, then entertainment after that. Friday will be a battle of the brass on Main Street. We've brought in some big name brass groups, and it will be kind of like what we did with Wongsby, but on steroids. It's going to be party rock, and that will be from after the parade to midnight that night. We also have 5 high school bands that will be participating in the Firemen's Parade this year, along with 3 international bands. So we will have 8 bands in the Firemen's Parade Friday night. On Saturday, we have now 22 musical groups. I use that term because there's 2 that do not march. They are going to be on floats. But we also have 7 high schools right now for the parade. 6 of them are, we have 8 high schools, 8 high schools, 6 that are from West Virginia, 1 is from Tennessee, and then 1 is from Pennsylvania. So as far as it goes with the event this year, we moved the car show to Sunday, so we requested again from Consolidated to close the street again. So we're not going to be real popular, I don't think, but we hope to bring enough people in to make up for any type of loss of revenue down the street. We should bring enough people to offset that. On Sunday, we'll be also doing a car show. We also have entertainment on Sunday again. And the food trucks, we have some that are scheduled to stay on Sunday, along with the carnival. So far, we have 5 international bands that already have committed. We have letters of application from them. Wesleyan has also been gracious enough to let us use their facilities again, Ross Field. And then we have a number of groups that will be staying on campus there. Sure Stay has already been very involved with the booking of some of the groups. And we are using international judges for all the parades this year. There is going to be a judging event also Friday night. So as far as it goes, we feel that we're going to put on a show that the parade, the Grand Future Parade, we know that's the big one, but we want them to know that we can do other things here, and we want Buckhannon to be known that this is a place where music unites. And I think that it started with July, and now it's our job to keep it going. Just so you know, we have Ecuador, Chile, and Colombia sending representative here for the Strawberry Festival to watch our parade this year, because they signed up for next year, 2025 already. We have 3 U.S. bands signed up for next year. We have 4 bands signed up for 2026. And we have 7 of the bands that were here in July with Randy that have signed up for 2027 to have a reunion right here in Buckhannon. So this is something we're going to grow on, we're going to continue to work on, and we hope to make the city and the residents of Buckhannon proud of the Strawberry Festival, and what we can make it grow and come back to where it was. And I think it's on its way there. So I want to thank you guys for your support. We thank the people at Buckhannon for their support, and we're going to try to make you proud, real proud.
Well, now you got a new country star coming in too, don't you?
We did go with some name entertainment on Saturday night. We were using local entertainment. The parade, once it's over 3 o'clock, we are using some other entertainment to fill the street. And then come 7:30 on Saturday night, everybody knows the Davison's Brothers. They will be here. And then the up and new comer, Ashley Cook, is our headliner. Her song is number 21 today, by the way, on the charts. So we're trying something different. And I think
She's quickly going away from that newcomer and into a mainstay.
Yeah, we can't call her that anymore.
On the country charts, so yeah.
So I think that's really, we're covering all our bases. And I think that it's not just, we're not just want to be country. We're trying to show everybody this is music from all the way around the world, in different types of music. So again, thank you. And if there's any questions, I'll try to answer them. Yes, ma'am.
Do we have room for 28 vendors at Drawbone Park?
Yes.
Okay. That seemed a lot to me down there. Okay.
We checked on that already.
Okay. And another thing, there was a discussion about a portable stage. Did that get worked out where that's going to be?
That was also something that we presented to Consolidated regarding our stage.
Yes. Yeah, we've got a plan. The street department, we've got a plan worked out for it.
It's a professional stage from United Sound, right?
Yes, it is. It's basically, we're using the same street that we use for Wamsby. And it's a professional stage, a professional setup. Professionals be standing up, they'll be manning it, the whole event, plus also be taking it down. So we should be in very good shape there. We're in good hands with United.
Yeah, this stage goes all over the United States, so. Yeah.
Thank you for what you're doing, Jim.
Thank you.
I get stopped a lot, about Wamsby, and I explained that, I'm not involved with this event itself, other than being on city council and so forth, but people are excited, very excited to see it continue to be referenced and so forth, so.
Well, it's discussions we had in July,
Right.
and it came to fruition, which
Right.
was,
Right.
it just happened a little late. We were hoping that we would have got the letter from Wamsby a couple months sooner, but we didn't get approved till October.
Yeah.
So it kind of made it tight. But we'll do our best.
We have a couple things on the agenda tonight relative to the Strawberry Festival that I'd like us, while Jim's here, to go ahead and take up. First of all is F1, and this is the recommendation from the Consolidated Public Works Board to approve the event request to have the West Virginia Strawberry Festival in its 82nd year, May 11th through 19th. That's to have the parades, other events, the use of city-owned properties and services throughout the week. There is one other change that we noted during the Consolidated Public Works Board, and that is that the opening ceremonies will be at Jawbone Park this year, because Saturday, the Election. You have the election day on that Saturday, because the election day is the 14th. So that Saturday, there's still early voting at the courthouse, so we can't impede with the voters going there. So we'll need to move that to Jawbone Park. Other than that, it is essentially the same with, as Jim noted, the addition of Sunday afternoon closure and Thursday night closure of the streets downtown for different events. Is there a motion to approve the event request for the 82nd Annual West Virginia Strawberry Festival? Motion by Mr. Sanders. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Thomas. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. And forget about our delay there. It's been a while since I've had to do that. Okay. Down to F5, and this would round out F5. F5A. The West Virginia Strawberry Festival has requested a sum in the amount of $50,000 to help to be the city's sponsorship for the festival. The city, we budgeted $25,000 for the Strawberry Festival this year. The Revenue and Expense Review Committee has met, and the recommendation to City Council is to request an additional $15,000, bringing the city's contribution this year to $40,000 for the Strawberry Festival. We had a lengthy discussion. We thrashed it all out, and that was what we chose to go forth with to council. What this council would need to do is not approve 40, but approve an additional 15 to go on top of the already budgeted $25,000. So that's the motion. So Pam, you're willing to make that motion, and Jack's making that second. So all those in favor of appropriating an additional $15,000 for a total contribution of $40,000 to this year's Strawberry Festival, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Like sign opposed. That motion carries unanimously. Okay. The last line item that is relative to the Strawberry Festival comes under F7. This is a request from Public Safety, and it came to the Consolidated Public Works Board. Consolidated Public Works Board approved it unanimously, and it needs to come to City Council for final approval. And this is to have no parking on East Lincoln Street between South Florida Street and South Kanawha Street during the time of Main Street being closed. If the fire department needs to access Route 20 to go south or to go to the western part of town and Main Street is closed, they cannot get those trucks through there if people are parked. We also noted that just about everybody on East Lincoln Street has a driveway. So what it is just, it's festival goer parking, but they can find places to park on other streets. But we'd like to ask for no parking just during the times that Main Street is closed on East Lincoln Street. Is that something the council would be willing to approve?
So moved.
Mr. Sanders has motioned. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Thomas. Is there any further discussion? Hearing the need for none, we'll call for that question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Like sign opposed. Motion carries unanimously. All right.
Thank you.
You're leaving with a full bucket.
No, Shane, you did good.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And we want to make sure we absolutely thank the Strawberry Festival Board of Directors for all of the updates and all of the changes coming. I do, and as a board member myself, I feel really good about where the festival is, where it's going. And, we've said this over and over again, but COVID killed some festivals. And we are bringing this one back to be stronger than ever. And I'm really appreciative of the council. The city of Buckhannon effectively has stepped up to save the Strawberry Festival financially over the past several years. And the board of directors has met us more than halfway with working on improving the quality and bringing this event full circle again. So thank you to you and everyone else.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. I think we don't have any more guests that wish to address the council tonight after an hour. So, and Janet, I'm sorry I missed you. You're sitting where Laura was, and I just, in my mind, you were Laura left and you snuck in. So, okay. We are down to department reports, and we will begin with Mr. Jerry Arnold. Good evening, sir,
Good
again.
evening. I'll just hit the highlights for you since we're maybe running a little long. Actually, we got the restroom demoed on the Foster building. I think everyone's noticed that. Again, we'll begin on patching as soon as the blacktop plant's open, which should be soon, hopefully, if the weather holds. Just under engineering J, as well as the supervisors, have been continuing to work on the planning and some preliminary submitting of plans to the DOH on the Island Avenue project. And Mayor, that's about the extent of it. I will say that yesterday there was some information put forth that did not come from the city of Buckhannon about a water line break and affected customers. Again, there was some miscommunication between Amenity and Com Center, so we followed up on that and hopefully have corrected.
Yeah, when I got word of it, I contacted Jerry because I didn't want to disseminate the information any further because I wasn't aware of anything and the mayor wasn't. So checked with Jerry and yeah, I mean, yeah, it was just, it got out for some reason. So that's why we didn't post it.
But there wasn't a break then?
No.
Well,
Clarification.
clarification, there was.
There was.
Not in town.
There was a break on the new line.
Right.
That runs to the tank that they put in.
Out at 8.
But we've been running redundant systems. We've got the new line and old line still in service.
Right.
So there was no disruption of
There
water.
was no disruption whatsoever. We had the old line to rely on, so it wasn't totally false. The issue of the customers being without water, that was.
Well, that's true. And that was the line out in
Tenderton.
Tenderton, right?
Yeah.
Tenderton, thank you. Yeah.
We also want to make sure we remind folks that if your PSD, pay attention to who's issuing the boil water advisories and the conserve water notices. The city of Buckhannon does not deliver water all over the county. The city of Buckhannon has a water territory and has a master meter at the end of its territory where then the PSD will take over. And so, not this past weekend, but last weekend, there was an issue with Mount Hope. And folks were confused, thinking it was in Buckhannon because they think they have city water. It's a city, the city water plant does yes, serve them, but it's past our master meter. They pay their bill to the PSD. So it's only customers within that PSD that have concern. City residents, it would have, and people that pay their bill to the City of Buckhannon Water Department, unless you hear from us that it says City of Buckhannon, your water's fine. So.
And they are backflow preventers at those meter sites.
Yep.
So everything beyond that point is totally up to the PSPs.
Right.
Yes, sir. That's all I have.
And as Jerry did note, I've gotten several emails this week and messages, and there was something on Facebook today about potholes. Yes, we say at every meeting, we are aware of them, but the plants are not open yet, and we can't fix them until the plant opens. I've got a list, council members have lists, we know that there's a lot of need out there, but we will get to it as soon as the plant's open.
And again, I remind everyone to call City Hall if you have a particular nuisance pothole that you
Yes.
hit every morning.
Yeah.
Call City Hall and have them do a work order, because we do gather those work orders, and as the mayor said, when we send our street sweeper out, our garbage trucks, they make notes of that too. So that's how we compile our list of where to go to and fill those holes. So it's important that if you don't complain on Facebook, call City Hall and do a work order on it, and you'll have a better result that way than on social media.
Right.
And I harp on this all the time.
Yes, ma'am.
I harp on this all the time, but if people want to call us individually and talk about it to us, and we want to have that kind of interaction with constituents, that's fine. But before you hang up the phone, say, please call City Hall and address it there so they can put a work order in immediately.
Right.
You know,
It goes into iWorks, and that way it's all documented.
Otherwise, we're going to, 2 days later, I'd find a Post-it note somewhere going like, oh my gosh, I got to look at everything.
Yep.
Whenever you get my age, your feeble mind.
Yep.
So,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Jerry.
Up next is the finances, and we have Barb here with us tonight. Good evening.
Good evening, Barb.
Hello, Barb.
Hi, Barb.
How are you all tonight?
Good.
We're doing well. How are you?
I'm okay. So your balances for February, general fund, money market and checking was $750,063. The CD is $86,550. Historic landmark savings is $3,030. Stockert Youth Center capital campaign, there's $445,198. With a $12,000 pledge, then that would bring it up to $457,198. Coal tax is $50,964. Municipal stabilization fund is $924,213. Flood control account is $78,329. Consolidated Public Works Board is $164,800. And the cemetery CD is $235,333. Sales tax is $1,804,622. American Rescue Plan is $448,837. And the opioid account is $113,000. And just a reminder, the next working budget session with the supervisors is on March the 12th, starting at 9 a.m. And then you'll see attached the February activities for Stockert Youth Center. And then with just a note with the fundings that we have already approved down in F, if you approve the one for the decorating committee, that total is going to be $36,500. We do have $22,043 in council contingency that can be used towards that. But then that'll leave a balance of $14,457 that we'll have to look through other line items to do a budget revision to get these all paid. And then that budget revision will be on your next agenda.
Yeah. The good news is we always overestimate our expenditures and underestimate revenue, and our B&O revenue is a little bit up, our contractor B&O is up, so sales tax is a little bit up, so we do have some opportunity to easily have that $14,000 be able to be accounted for in the budget revision, looks to be anyway. So while Barb is here, do you want to go ahead and take up the seasonal decoration support, or we want to wait until later? It's up to you all.
Motion we bring it to the table.
Okay. As you'll recall, council members, Council Lady Bucklew has organized a seasonal downtown decorating committee. They've met several times. You have before you some very colorful banners that would hang from our historic street poles downtown and in Jawbone Park, if approved. And so at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Pam to walk us through what they have selected.
Well, the handout that I've given you, if you look down at the bottom of the page, there's a star above the one that we would like to put downtown. It's called Spring Explosion, and you can also get something imprinted up at the top, like Welcome to Buckhannon, whatever. And you go to the second page, and we picked out one called Kites Galore. It's got a star on it. We want to put those down at the Jawbone area in the new parking area down there. The ones with the flower on front are all going to be downtown. Okay? These are the ones we want to do like immediately for spring. Hopefully have the money to do that for this spring and get that done. Get something up before Strawberry Festival, because we know that's going to change at strawberry time, but here we have 2 months it's just blah downtown. So this is like a welcome spring to downtown Buckhannon. And in next fiscal year, which we can't do it with this money, I don't think there's going to be enough money, but we also have one picked up for the fall. It's on the back page, and it's called Color Tour. And this is what we are looking at in the future for downtown in the fall. But we need about 66 flags for the spring for jawbone in downtown. And that's, talk to Jerry, and that's about what we've come up with.
Okay. Now, that 66, does that include coming off of, at the exit at Main Street and going all the way down to the college on East Main, or is that just the core?
It includes Gateway West, every other pole.
Okay.
And every pole on Main Street proper up to City Hall. And then from there on, there's none included on that side.
Okay.
So it is at City Hall.
Jawbone in the new area.
Okay. All right.
Just out of curiosity, I don't know that it makes any difference. Did Dixie look at the spring explosion, Dixie Green?
Dixie didn't show up the last time, but we did see, I think she did see the picture. And
Okay.
she agreed, she thought they did nice.
Okay.
What, Jerry, what about the labor impact?
It's minimal, Dave. That's a couple hours. Takes a couple hours to hang the flags on those poles.
How many flags would it increase to go the rest of the way down?
Main Street, it would take about 21 additional on East Main.
Yeah.
What if we did every other one?
That's
That
one
is
of the
every
things.
one.
Every other one?
There's about 40, there's 42 or 43 poles between here and College Avenue. So that's, like I said, I would say about 21 more.
I kind of like it whenever it finishes out, you
Well,
know.
I was trying to stay under the
I understand.
$10,000 budget, but
She's trying to be thrifty.
I agree with you too.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
keep
So-
in mind, we are constantly expanding our footprint with those new
I
light
know.
poles on other streets.
Right, right. Well, the question is then, Pam, what would it cost? I mean, you're asking for approval to order spring explosion
Uh-huh, and the kites.
And
kite
kites.
galore,
Yes.
and that's about 10,000?
Well, it's close to, close to it, yeah.
And-
I'm figuring probably 8 something.
8,000?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to try to push it to include rest of East Main Street.
No, I kind of agree too.
Here's what I wondered. Here, I'm just thinking out loud. The chamber has had good luck with kind of taking a design that they saw somewhere else and having one of our local sign shops make the banners for them. I'm wondering if we showed this to like the sign guy or to Eric Fluke or Floyd's or somebody and just said,
Oh, I'm willing to do
could you do this? And,
Something like
you know,
that.
something very close to it. And could we support a local business here in town and maybe it would be even less expensive?
I would prefer that.
Because I think this gives us a good, like, template,
Right.
but could they essentially, I don't want to say duplicate it, but you know what I mean, like pretty close to duplicate
Sure,
it.
deal.
Yeah, and then we are able to support a business right here.
Well, I'm willing to.
Sign guy gave us a good quote for barbecue bags, we were hoping to use the 10. I think it was 30-some, we talked about every other one yet, and it was around less than 3,000.
Yeah.
And that was printed, our logo, and
Is that on both sides? Like,
I think so. I thought Cord will have to look.
okay, sometimes.
So here's what I'd like to do tonight. I'd like for us to go ahead and approve the maximum budget of $10,000 for additional seasonal decorations, decorative flags downtown, but with the caveat that we maybe go see the sign guy or Floyd's or Eric or everybody and just see what can they do to make, we want to keep the business here local.
I think you go to everybody.
Yeah,
Them all
sure,
sides.
yeah, yeah, see who comes back the best. That work?
I didn't know there was a Floyd. Where's it?
It's Frank Floyd out there
Oh, okay.
right by
I
the
thought he
tracks.
just did like.
Well, he may, I don't know, he does some signs, so, you know,
Yeah, I could do that possibly Monday. I can't get there till Monday, but I can do that.
if we come up with a spec sheet and just easily, I don't know that we have to meet with them, but if we provide them a picture, give them a spec sheet,
Okay.
ask them what their best price would be.
I think it's good to meet with
Just,
I'll make a motion to, go ahead, Jack.
well, just for clarification, we have a budget of $10,000. Okay, and let's say we're going to go down East Main Street. Okay, so it comes out to $10,500. Could we not put in the motion that if necessary, go above the $10,000 to complete the project down East Main Street. That way we don't have to come back in 2 weeks or however long to approve it, and Pam can go ahead and get the order in.
What's your cap? If you say 500, and what if it's 550?
Well, that was an example, Randy.
I'm just asking.
Man, you're not gonna be a barbecue judge.
You're probably looking at another
Pardon?
You're probably looking at another $3,000 to $4,000
No,
to
3 to 4.
complete everything.
That's 12.
See, that's,
That's 11 and 12.
I think 10,000 is a good number.
I think we gotta stay at 10. So we
Yeah.
can't do the East Main Street, we can't do East Main Street, so,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
It looks like if you were to budget about $100 per banner, you would be safe. So with that, it's about $6,600 for what you're asking for now. So I would say you'd probably be pretty close. I didn't do the math.
Well, but
So,
isn't
yeah.
there extra for printing, like welcome Buckhannon on these too?
No,
No.
No?
not with, I know we did ours with Design Guide, and they did not charge us, it was included in the design.
Okay. Well, maybe we
And
can do them
I
in
think,
10,000.
I could go back and check ours, but I think we paid about $90 per banner, and that was double-sided.
That's what I'm saying is about $100.
And how many banners total if we add East Main?
Yes, you would, well, again, you're.
21,
Yeah, you're talking 87.
Close to 90.
$700
Yeah.
with East Main.
But that's just for the spring one. That's not the one for
That's
Java.
not the fall.
No, that's including
That's
all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, good.
But I think you're good with your 10,000 ball.
Okay.
All right, is there a motion to approve F3?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Thomas, second by Rigger. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Like sign opposed, motion carries. $36,000.
Thank
We got
you.
14,000 left.
Thank you.
Got any takers? No, I'm just kidding, just kidding.
Start docking pay.
So now in your payment of bills. So the notable for February was we paid the $25,000 to Strawberry Festival for the 23-24 budget. We paid $3,270 to Target Solutions Learning. That was for annual software maintenance for the fire department. $7,425 to Roll and Rack LLC. That was for a power hose roller for the fire department. And then we paid $35,000 to Foster Marketing Group to demo that building structure. And then on your revenues and expenses, revenues, we brought in $252,241.67. We expended $458,114.05. So we went over $205,872.38.
A lot of good fun.
All right, is there any questions for Barb? Hearing none, all right. Thank you. Okay, JV's not here yet. His report is in your packet. City Attorney Tom O'Neill is deferring down to strategic issues for discussion and or vote. So we'll go through correspondence real quick. The city election candidate or certification of candidates and the ballot selection has taken place. The Charles Gibson Library Director's Report for February is in the packet. Verification report, ISO, Insurance Services Office for the Community Rating System is in your packet. We have a notice of accepting applications for the Buckhannon Fire Civil Service Commission and as well as the Buckhannon Police Civil Service Commission. We have the Buckhannon Police Department CALIA Accreditation Public Comment Portal. Notice of cemetery annual cleanup is March 25th through March 29th. We have the report of the cat and dog activity from the Upshur County Commission for January. And then we have, as Barb noted, the notice of special city council meeting. It will be a budget working session on March 12th at 9 a.m. It's also looking like we'll be here through lunch, and I told you all I'd buy you lunch for staying that long. So please be here on March the 12th. Under the consent agenda, we need to break a couple things out. I'd first like to ask for a motion for E1, and then a motion for E3, which is first the minutes, and then second the approval of the payment of our bills, which include, but not all of them were noted, but they are all in your packet that Barb went over with us. Is there a motion to approve E1 and E3?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Pam, second by Jack. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. E2, I need to abstain from E2 because I have a couple of permits in there, commercial side, so I'd defer to Mr. Sanders to
Okay.
ask for that.
You have in your packet the information on E2, approval of building and wiring permits. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Bucklew, second by Rigger. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries with Mr. Skinner abstaining.
Thank you. All right. We have one singular line item left under strategic, which would be F4. Real quick before Tom gets started, I have been in search of a new planning commission appointment to fill an unexpired term. The person I asked, I received a no on over the weekend. I asked another person. I do not have their answer back yet, so we do not have any action to take under F6 tonight, so that will be moved until the next meeting. So, Mr. O'Neill, our final item is Ordinance 466, which is expediting the enforcement of property nuisance. And this is the ordinance's first reading.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of council. The council has before it ordinance number 466. This is the ordinance that was discussed at the last meeting related to, as the mayor said, expedited enforcement of property matters. Just to review the contents of the draft ordinance, which is unchanged from our last meeting. The ordinance provides for immediate citations that can be written by the enforcement officer, whether it's Mr. Smith, our housing enforcement officer, or our code enforcement officer, or any City of Buckhannon sworn police officer can enforce this ordinance. The draft requires that the person being cited abate the property nuisance within at least 48 hours, but the citation can be written to permit that at the officer's discretion. The individual then has 48 hours after issuance of the citation to request a court date, which must take place within 10 days. The rest of the ordinance in your packet looks different than typical ordinances because this is part of the codified ordinances that the city had for a period of time. And this is drafted to revise the codified ordinances section where this resides in the code book. So if you adopt this on first reading tonight, at the next meeting on the 21st, you will have what's called an engrossed version, which is all the strike-throughs and underlines will be incorporated into a final text version that will reflect the final version of the new, or the revised, I should say, section of the codified ordinances section. I think it's 1711. And with that, well, I'll tell you what, let me read the ordinance by caption, and then I'd be happy to entertain any questions. Ordinance number 466 of the City of Buckhannon, and ordinance amending ordinance numbers 244, 357, 367, 375, and 404, which is also codified ordinance number 2016-004 of the City of Buckhannon, and modifying and reenacting Article 1711 of the codified ordinances of the city of Buckhannon related to expedited enforcement of those ordinances concerning the abatement of nuisances on properties located within the corporate limits of the city. This is the first of 2 readings.
Thank you, Mr. O'Neill. If you'll recall, we saw this on draft last time, and this came out of a very thorough discussion and recommendation from our city's Housing Enforcement Board. It's something I believe we absolutely need to adopt, and I would like to ask for that motion and second at this time.
So moved.
A motion by Mr. Thomas, is there a second? Second by Mr. Sanders. Is there any discussion on the ordinance? Hearing the need for none, we will call for that question. All those in favor of approving ordinance 466 on first reading tonight, please signify by saying aye.
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 Like sign opposed, motion carries unanimously. Thank you, sir. We are down to council comments and announcements, and we will begin with Mrs. Bucklew.
Just thank the council for approving the money to get new decorations.
Thank you for coordinating the meetings and getting people together. We appreciate that. Mr. Rigger.
I'm really encouraged by all the activities that will be taking place in our fair city, and Strawberry Festival, of course, and Barbecue Bash. I'm all for that. So I'm excited. Good things are happening in Buckhannon. It's a great place to live, and just looking forward to all the activities coming up.
I think you're trying to push him out of the judge seat because I think you want to. I think you could be a good judge.
Oh, I can persecute. I can persecute anybody.
Mr. Thomas.
Well, I need about 15 minutes. No, I have no comments.
All right. No, I said no pontificating. Very good. All right, Mr. Sanders. I'm sorry, Mr. Rylands.
This afternoon, I picked up my granddaughter from daycare, and she wanted to go to a park. So we went to the park behind Stockard at about 3:45, and she was playing with some other kids. There were about 3 young mothers and 4 kids or so. And at 4 o'clock, the kids came out the door of Stockard, and we were all told that we had to leave immediately, and that they were taking over the park. So we all left. But this is my concern with investing this money and it not be open to the community. Here's an example of a basketball court and a park where there was 3, 4, 5-year-old kids with their mothers, and they're ejected from this space. And there's work to be done here in how this thing is going to be operated, and we better figure it out before we sign the paper to borrow what we're contemplating borrowing. So that's all I have.
Thank you, CJ.
We need to look into that further.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't make any sense
Yeah.
at all.
Okay, Mr. Sanders.
All right, so a couple of things. I can announce that we have hired a manager for the event center at Brushy Fork. Matula Hartley has been formally hired by the city of Buckhannon. About 2 days or 3 days after we hired Matula to take over the event center at Brushy Fork, then we were in need of a interim manager at the Culinary Arts Center, and we asked Matula to go ahead and move into that situation as well. So she is serving currently as the event center manager and the interim manager of the Culinary Arts Center. And thus far doing a fantastic job. She is assisted with the setup of the annual dinner out of the event center. She has produced multiple events already at the Culinary Arts Center. Today, the Culinary Arts Center Board did make a motion to recommend that the city pursue making an offer to her to become full-time manager of both properties. So we will be discussing that as we move further. We have a lot of activities actually scheduled for the event center. I did a spreadsheet, updated a spreadsheet and sent it out to the mayor and some other folks. So we have a pretty busy spring coming up with a lot of activities. We are pursuing our application for the liquor license so that we can capitalize on that income, because it's going to be tough otherwise. We can have I have a lot of things booked, and I'm still looking at only maybe $15,000 to $20,000 worth of rental income coming in, and that's going to be just not going to be enough to sustain, but we want to make that a success out there. Now, if you bear with me, I'm trying to get to, okay, here's what I'm trying to get to. So one of the things when the city took over the event center at Brushy Fork, sat down and had a long meeting with the powers to be out of Charleston Army National Guard, because it truly is, it's their building to manage, to make the big decisions and big investments. This just came online tonight. This is one of the investments. So you'll see the entranceway going into the event center. In the past, it's been really dark out there as you leave at night. So you see the illumination. This job was finished today. This is from the doors leaving the event center and looking out, and then this is where you step down into the parking lot. So that's a huge improvement over what we had in the past. Wouldn't you agree, Tammy? Yes. Yes. So that's something that didn't cost the city any money. This was an investment by the West Virginia Army National Guard, because they recognize as well that not having this entrance and exit area, we Thursday evening there's going to be 260 people, 270, 280 with staff and everybody helping, moving in and out of that building. So I was happy to receive these during the council meeting, and that's why I was trying to get them uploaded and moved over. So when you come out to the annual dinner, you'll see a lot of fresh dirt around the sidewalks, because this project was just completed. We have some new lighting in the back of the event center as well, to make it safer for the workers out there when they're moving garbage out after a big event and so forth. So a lot of great things are going on with the event center, and I'm excited that we now have somebody that'll be a full-time manager on that. So those are my comments for tonight. I just wanted to share that with council. Yes, ma'am.
to ask you, did you get anything from Melinda Hayes?
Yes, I haven't opened it up yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
It
just
had to
didn't
do
have it.
with
Yeah.
that, correct?
Okay. All right. But anyway, so that's those are my comments, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Well, I guess we can just give, oh, is he? Let's hurry up and wrap up.
We have a report.
Motion to adjourn. Real quick, this evening I attended a meeting at Tennerton Elementary School where the superintendent was answering questions about the levy. Please, 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 and looking right in the camera, please vote yes for the school levy. We have 4,000 kids that depend on that. This isn't about the mistakes that were made. This isn't about the previous administration. This is about the future of this community and about the schools here. And if we want to continue to be competitive, if we want to continue to be putting out the best that we can, we've got to support our school system financially and otherwise. So please support our school levy if you can do so. May 14th, early voting will be before that. It follows the same coordinates as the municipal and the county election. But it's this is a continuation. The taxes do not go up. It's the exact same as it is now. So please, please, please support to continue our school levy. Without it, we will be in even more of a world of hurt than we are. So there are a lot of good teachers. There's a lot of good kids that are doing their best, and we as a community need to support them. So with that, I'm done. JB, do you want to give a report or good?
We can wait till next.
Well, we have it
in the packet. So.
The superintendent will be at Suba tomorrow evening. It's a meet and greet that if folks have not heard or had a chance to listen to all that, she will be up there, is my understanding.
Yeah, she said that tonight as well. So.
That's where, at French Creek?
No, that's up at Rock Cave. Yep.
And that's a commission? Commissioners will be there?
Well, it's a meet the candidates night is what it is.
That's what I'm
So,
saying.
yeah. All right, 8:40. I'd entertain a motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you.